building. We're just merely saying here that spending $400,000 to pay for 2 county employees in a facility is not fiscally responsible in this era. And re-looking at this lease, giving folks adequate time to move, giving those 2, just to clarify again, 2 county employees adequate time to find space and have the other entities that are there pay their fair share of rent seems to be entirely appropriate. Thank you.
Not that it's particularly material, it's 2 at any one given time, it's 12 total county employees, but it's a deliberate mischaracterization of what's happening in that building. We have contracted employees stuffed into that building as well as clients that are well served. This is a fiscally responsible thing for this county to do. It reaps benefits besides financial ones for this county with regards to the issues of recidivism that have been well explained by Legislator Driscoll. I thank him for taking the time out of his schedule to visit there today. I would encourage anybody that hasn't been there to go. I vote no still on this amendment.
Further discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Quattro.
No.
Mr. Bronson.
Yes.
Mr. Adair.
No.
Ms. Andrews. Yes. Mr. Barker.
No.
Mr. Beebe.
Yes.
Mr. Cassetti.
No.
Mr. Colby.
No.
Mr. Cruz.
Yes.
Mr. Daniele.
No.
Mr. Dodson.
No.
Mr. Driscoll.
No.
Mr. Eckel.
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Mr. Gumina.
Yes.
Mr. Haney.
Yes.
Mr. Hanna.
No.
Mr. Hyder.
Yes.
Ms. Cayley. Yes. Mr. LaFountain.
No.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Lightfoot.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. McCann.
No.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. Tucciarello.
No.
Mrs. Valerio. No. Mr. Yolovich.
No.
President Zyra.
No.
The amendment fails 14-50.
Mr. O'Brien?
Thank you, Mr. President. First, with respect to the issue of democratic solutions, I would remind those present in these chambers that our caucus has had solutions online published for at least some 2 years. And at committee meeting after committee meeting, as we attempted to implement those referrals, some of which required state legislative action for a variety of reasons, take a long time to implement. But in any event, none of those referrals have ever been adopted. And the problem is not lack of democratic ideas, it's the failure to implement democratic ideas that leads us to where we are today. And where we are today, I want to explain my vote on this budget proposal. There's been a lot of discussion in the last few weeks about the use of one-shots. And this year, the use of one-shots brings kind of a whole new meaning to the term. In the past, we've sold parking garages and we've sold the Iowa power plant and other hard facilities. This year, in a way that's somewhat unparalleled in the past, not only are we relying on the sale of future delinquent tax revenues from future years to pay for our budget this year, but we're also using the sale or the proposed sale of payments made in lieu of taxes by entities that get tax preferences through our industrial development agency, that those future year incomes to solve this budget gap. And it would be much analogous to if I were to say from 2010, I'll take my income for February, March, and April and sell it to someone up front so that I could balance my 2009 budget. And of course the problem comes in 2010 when February comes and March comes and April comes and I don't have the income. We're digging a huge hole in future year's income. We already know that we start 2010 out with a big deficit as we have to begin to repay the school districts as a result of the ill-fated fair plan. Now in addition to that, we're taking future revenues that this county could expect to receive in those years, digging a further hole. And in my view, this is just a totally irresponsible way for us to be proceeding with the county's business. And unlike so many levels of government that are now sharpening their pencil and returning to the idea that now is the time to take responsibility and live within our means, this county refuses to do this as indicated by our decision to take future delinquent tax revenues out of future years and the pilot programs, and I cannot support that level of irresponsibility. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. To the relief of our colleague, Dr. Monroe, my colleagues and I don't intend to offer a whole host of amendments tonight. There is one more amendment we will offer, but we don't intend to offer a whole series of amendments on a whole series of issues. The county budget is $1 billion book with myriads of details. And we've indeed had fruitful discussions and questioning about lots of these details during the committee meetings. We could indeed sit and stand here tonight and argue about vehicles and cell phone costs and all kinds of things like that. But I don't know that that would be fruitful, and indeed, Mr. Quattro announced yesterday in the press that any amendments that we introduced tonight would be defeated anyways, so it wouldn't be a very productive use of any of our time. With that in mind, we offer one additional amendment, Mr. President. And this becomes a policy statement to be put into the budget. That rather than sit here, the intent is rather than just sit and stand here tonight and haggle about individual lines in the budget, etc. Indeed, any amendments we offered would undoubtedly be defeated, is to put a process in place. And so that what this amendment says, Mr. President, is that beginning January 1, 2009, we request the county administration work with each county department head to submit to this honorable body no later than March 1st, 2009, a comprehensive spending reduction plan that includes a 2% reduction from the appropriations designated for the administrative and managerial costs, including but not limited to all supply costs, cell phone costs, fleet service costs, is included in the 2009 proposed Monroe County budget for the period beginning July 1st, 2009. Such spending reduction plan shall include a reasonable justification for each reduction, including any impact on programs and services. The legislature, Section 2, the legislature of the County of Monroe will further review each county department's spending reduction plan, which will be considered as amendments to the 2009 Monroe County budget at the June 9, 2009 meeting of the legislature. And if seconded, Mr. President, I'll speak further to the offered amendment.
Second, Mr. President.
Two things, I think, Mr. President, became apparent to us during the review of the budget. One is that this is not what one would consider a tight budget. The budget overall is increasing by approximately 4.9%. Debt service costs in the budget alone are up by 5.6%. If one looks at the number of positions in the budget, and there's a page in the budget that lists all the positions by department, we see that in 2008 there were 4,880 authorized positions. And for 2009 we have 4,874 authorized positions. That's a reduction of only 6 positions, which is approximately 0.1%. I don't think anyone would attempt to claim that any kind of a draconian effort has been made to control county expenditures in these difficult times. But Dr. Quattro is right. It would be a waste of our time to sit here tonight, stand here tonight and argue about individual line items or individual departmental appropriations. What we would like to see put in place is a